Hello everyone, my name is Julie Brown and this is the week 3 discussion board. Today I'm going to be talking about Wilson's dichotomy, Taylor's scientific management, Golik's POSDCORB, Weber's bureaucracy, Follett's leadership, and Simon's bounded rationality. So today I'm going to be going over uh, Wilson's dichotomy and the politics administration dichotomy is a theory that constructs the boundaries of public administration and asserts the normative relationship between elected officials and administrators in a democratic society. The phrase politics administration dichotomy itself does not appear to have a known inventor. Even after exhaustive research, the combination of words that make up the phrase was first found in a public administration literature from the 1940s with no clear originator. Sorry about that. So a little bit about Woodrow Wilson is credited with the politics administration dichotomy via his theories on public administration in his 1887 essay called The Study of Administration. Wilson came up with a theory that politics and administrators are inherently different and should be approached as such. His essay is considered to be the first source to be analyzed and studied in the public administration field. And Wilson was influenced by Richard Ely and Herbert Adams, who taught at Hopkins University. Wilson's model created one of the first concepts of checks and balances, which is one of the most predominant systems of democratic accountability used to shape the United States government. Nevertheless, separating the will of people from politics could be extremely beneficial, and institutionally separating administration from politics could prove valuable in sustaining government accountability. Politics administration dichotomy also leads to political neutrality. The blurring of politics and policy has caused to the avocations to dismiss uh, partisan policies rather than politics. The importance of neutrality in politics and policy are established with the politics administration dichotomy. And moving on to Frederick Taylor, and then the 4 principles of scientific management. So a little bit about scientific management is a monograph published by Frederick Winslow Taylor. This laid out Taylor's views on principles of scientific management or industrial era organization and discussion theory. Taylor was an American manufacturing manager, mechanical engineer, and then a management consultant in his later years. The term scientific management refers to coordinating the enterprise for everyone's benefit, including increased wages for laborers. Although the approach is directly too old idea that each workman can be regulate his own way of doing work. It's also called a Taylorism. So I'm going to be going into the 4 principles. The first one, they develop a science for each element of a man's work, which replaces one rule of thumb method. The second one is they scientifically select and then train teach and develop the workmen, whereas in the past he chose his own work and trained himself as best as he could. The third one is they hardly cooperate with the men so as to ensure all of the work being done is accordance with the principles of the science which has been developed. And the fourth one, there is an almost equal division of the work and the responsibility between the management and the workmen. The management take over all the work for which they are better fitted than the workmen, while in the past almost all the work and the greater part of the responsibility were thrown upon the men. All right, now Luther Gulick, going over the acronym POSDCORB. It's widely used in the field management and public administration that reflects a classic view of organizational theory. It appeared most prominently in the 1937 paper by Gulick, and then he first presented this concept in 1935. So it stands for planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and then budgeting. So going into more of what that means. So sorry, my notes got a little mixed up here. Okay, so Gulick stresses how these modes of organization often cross, forming irrelevant structures. Organizations like schools may include workers and professionals not in the field of education, such as nurses. How they are combined or carefully aggregated into school or a school system is of concern. But the early work of Gulick was not limited to small organizations. Under coordination, two methods can be used to achieve coordination and divided labor. First is by organization or placing workers under managers who coordinate their efforts. Second is by dominance of an idea, where a clear idea of what needs to be done is developed in each worker, and each worker fits the work to the needs of the whole. And then he also talks about holding company, which maybe perform limited coordinating, planning, or budgeting functions, uh, and then carrying out their work with extensive uh, autonomy, but as a holding company is allowed based upon authority and overall direction. What some of the acronym means: planning, examining the future and drawing up plans of actions; organizing, building up the structure, labor, and material of the undertaking; command, maintaining activity among the personnel; coordinating, unifying and harmonizing activities and efforts; and then control, seeing that everything occurs in conformity with policies and practices. And then Mary Parker Follett, was an American social worker, management consultant, philosopher, and a pioneer in the fields of organizational theory and organizational behavior, along with Lillian Gilbreth. Follett was one of two great women in management, and then she's also known to be the mother of modern management. So, just a little bit about her really quick. She was born in 1868 in Quincy, Massachusetts, to a wealthy Quaker family. She studied at the University of Cambridge and then moved to study at Society for the Collegiate Instruction of Women in Cambridge. And then for 6 years, she attended the university on a irregular basis, eventually graduating. So organizational theory was a lateral process within hierarchical organizations. The importance of informal process with organizations and the idea of the authority of expertise, which really served to modify the typology of authority developed by her German contemporary Max Weber, who broke authority down into three separate categories: rational, legal, traditional, and charismatic. She recognized the holistic nature of community and advised the idea of reciprocal relationships and understanding the dynamic aspects of the individual in relationship to others. Follett advocated the principle of what she termed integration or non-coercive power sharing based on the use of her concept of power with rather than power over. All right, Herbert Simon is most famous for what is known to economists as a theory of bounded rationality, a theory about economic decision-making that Simon himself preferred to call satisfying, a combination of two words, satisfy and suffice. Simon maintained that individuals do not seek to maximize their benefit from a particular course or action. Not only can they not get access to all the information required, but even if they could, their minds would not be able to process it properly. The mind necessarily restricts itself, bounded by cognitive limits. So an example could be when in shopping mode, aspire to something that they find acceptable, although that might not necessarily be optimal. They look through things in sequence, and when they come across an item that meets their aspiration level, they go for it. This real world behavior is what Simon called satisfying. He applied this idea to organizations as well as individuals. Managers do much of the same thing as shoppers in a mall. He went on to say, because he treats the world as rather empty and ignores the interrelatedness of all things, administrative men can make decisions when relatively simple rules of thumb that do not make impossible demands upon his capacity for thought.